So I've decided to do one of my favorite reactions, and the first thing I need is some sulfur. I'll just add about 20 grams to a little container. On top of this, I also need to add some powdered iron metal, and I measured out about 35 grams. This mixture can be a bit unstable, and stirring it normally can sometimes cause it to go off. So instead, I'll just carefully shake it around until it looks evenly mixed. It was eventually looking pretty good, so I dumped it all out, and I spread it out as evenly as possible. At this point, it's basically ready, and I just have to light it on fire. The classic way to do this is by touching it with a hot glass rod, but I apparently didn't heat it up enough, and it failed. So this time, I made sure to heat it until it was red hot and on the verge of melting. It almost immediately liquefies the sulfur, which then reacts with the iron, and this generates a lot of heat. It's enough to keep the reaction going, and it goes until it all burns. When it's done, and after it's cooled down, I'm left with a large chunk of iron sulfide, which I'm sure I'll find something to do with.
Have given Day and his team inspiration to build an exact scale model of the Ark. To simulate a heavy animal cargo, the model Ark is weighted. A 220-foot wave tank will simulate storm conditions that the Ark would have likely encountered in the flood. Motion detection cameras will record the model Ark's behavior in the water using stability markers at the back of the ship.
Now, this kind of test that we're doing here, we're mostly interested in the motions of the vessel. And in this particular case, this is an unusual vessel because it's not a powered vessel. So we're looking at a vessel that's free to float in the water.
Computers will analyze the Ark's movements.
You okay there, Charlie, then? Okay, we'll go for it.
Dave fires up the huge pneumatic wave generator. On board, Noah would have had no power to control the direction of his huge ship. And as soon as the waves hit the bow, the Ark quickly swings to the most unstable position. The boat is now taking the full force of the swell, side on. The motion detection camera picks up the degree of movement.
This is the image of the balls on the boat, and these are the motions of the vessels, which we're also recording here.
The Ark is pitching and rolling dangerously as the wave machine reaches storm conditions so extreme that one of the marker balls actually disappears underwater.
We've got a peak roll angle of over 50 degrees. You would be thrown around all over the place. You'd be literally hanging on for grim death. The real boat, which wouldn't be 100% watertight like our model is, would be sinking.
To make allowance for how a wooden boat built at the time of Noah would leak uncontrollably, the team removes the deck and runs the test one more time. It soon takes on water and begins to list.
I think it's trouble now. It's going. It's going to go. There it goes. More and more water comes in, and the boat just progressively floods, and then in the end there's a loss of stability, and the boat sinks quite dramatically in that case.
I don't actually have any titanium Damascus, so I did a bit of a workaround. I drew out some Damascus patterns, and then I had them laser etched onto titanium scales. Those of you who make chainmail may recognize this pattern, as the ring lord actually bought the original design off of me. Let's start with a nice ice blue, and then I'll probably make these into pendants later. Ice blue has been quite popular lately, but then of course gold, because you can't go wrong with gold. Turn the voltage up, get to the next color, and let's do a nice gold. Come on, gold. It's always an iffy color, but I think that looks pretty good, so we'll keep that one. There's probably enough space for me to do these last two side by side, so let's do a nice purple first, because purple is always very popular. And then let's shift over to green. It's a very high voltage color, but I know you guys like to see all the colors, so shake the bubbles off and get all the way to green. Green, that's a good green. So there you go, Damascus, but not Damascus. Perfect.
Seems like every time you try to bring up giants to someone, they look at you like you're crazy until you actually whip out some real facts.
What? I don't think you're crazy, actually. I just think you're really bad at using Google. So instead, I'm going to do the second part and present to you, in your own words, real facts. As a direct quote, you say about this, if giants weren't real, then how did they build this and why did they build it? I believe your implication is that these are giant steps, and let me just... No, they are not. These ruins are the former Incan settlement of Ollantaytambo, and these are not giant steps. They are agricultural terraces. But I'm sure you don't need me to explain that to you. I mean, look right here. There's literally a staircase for actual people that go alongside them. Because this wasn't made for giants, it was made for people. This is another picture of Ollantaytambo. The difference is that these terraces have grass growing on them. Because they were, for farming. And oh look, there is another human-sized staircase going up next to them. Almost like it was for farmers to access their farm plots. This is that same site, by the way, so let's just look at it with a little bit of logic. If these were giant stairs, why are they conveniently leading to person-sized houses? You feel like there'd be giant houses up there, wouldn't you? I don't know, man, these giants really need to get their cardio in. God, okay, next piece of evidence, let's go. I wish I took a better screenshot, because now I just have you peeking over my shoulder. That's a little better. Alright, so this apparently is evidence of giants existing because it shows a man holding a lion, and look at how small the lion is in comparison to the man. This is the former Assyrian ruler, King Ashurbanipal, and the reason he's depicted with a lion is because a symbol of royalty was they would do lion hunts, where they would capture lions from Africa and hunt them for sport. He is holding the lion as a symbol of power and ownership because he was seen as half man, half god. And because he is viewed that way, why would they put a average-sized man next to a enormous African lion? No, they are going to show him as a gigantic towering figure holding this puny prey to show his power and awesomeness. He's actually frequently depicted this way. Here's another statue of him holding a lion. You're reading into it so literally that you're completely overlooking what the statue is actually supposed to be of. It is a symbolic gesture of power, not a literal interpretation of how tall Ashurbanipal was. That's like looking at this hieroglyphic and being like, oh my god, ancient Egyptians were tiny, look at how small he is next to this duck. Or like looking at the Lincoln Memorial and assuming that at one point we had a president who was like 80 feet tall. You finish your video by saying you're running out of time, but you have a lot more evidence. And my friend, I would love for you to make another video, because I want to know what other evidence you have, and perhaps with just enough conspiracy searching and mental gymnastics, you could convince me, as well as everyone else in this app, that giants do, in fact, exist.
I dropped out of college. Sharks have no bones in their body. I love sharks, they're my favorite animal. Sputnik's giving me bad vibes, okay? 7, I live in LA, come on. Convex, concave sounds like a pussy. DNA strand would be too obvious. Jupiter. Ooh! L40. SL, too much like silver. Fuck. Tiger. Ooh, oh my god. Not oxygen. That we breathe that. What do you mean?
Do you know that there's a cult trying to create their own god, and they might actually pull it off? They're called the Holy Order of the Claw, and their plan is to create and worship their own Leviathan lobster god. You see, lobsters don't die of old age. And if given the perfect conditions and assistance when molting, they don't technically have a limit on the size they can reach. They plan to create their own Leviathan lobster god through generations of assisting one in its growth and upkeep.
I went to go wash my cup this morning. I forgot I added chia seeds to my water a couple days ago. Now it looks like there's a plant growing.
What will happen in 10 quintillion years? Hello, guys. What's the future of the human race and our beloved planet Earth? After some research, we found the predictions of the events for the next 1,000, 1 million, and up to 10 quintillion years into the future. Let's go through this journey together. 1,000 years from now, due to rapid evolution of languages, no single present-day word will have survived. Gamma Cephei replaces Polaris, so we will have a new North Star. 2,000 years from now, ice sheets will have completely melted with extreme global warming of +8 degrees centigrade. Greenland's ice will be melted. Sea levels will be 6 meters higher. Did you know that 5125 is the year of the end of the Mayan calendar and, according to the Mayans, a doomsday again?
Will my rocket survive your anus?
Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy.